Hello everybody, Felicia here with another layout featuring some of the most beautiful cardstock that I've had the pleasure of working with from CutCard Stock. Yes. What I am using today is I am using the glitter POW paper from American Crafts, sold by CutCard Stock. It is the best. Actually, I enjoyed working with this, and so what I decided to do with this cardstock, and you'll see here in a minute, is make beautiful designs to put on my layout. And I wanted the glitter part of it to be seen. Now, what I like about this glitter cardstock is that the glitter does not come off on your hands when you're working with it. So that is a plus for those of us who don't like a glitter mess. That was one of the reasons why I don't use a whole lot of glitter paper until I got a hold of this one. And then I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can work with this. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting these little strips here, and I'm cutting different size strips. I have really small ones, and I have medium sized ones, and I have thick ones. What I'm going to be doing with these strips, and why you see me measuring them so, is I'm going to be cutting them into squares. I'm eyeballing this, by the way. I did not perfectly cut these squares, but the design that I'm going to be doing here still came out just perfectly fine. So for those of you who like to have things done in such a really kind of way there, I'm just letting you know this is how I did mine. So I am making pinwheels. This has been done for a while. This is not a new technique, but I really like the way pinwheels look. And so I decided to go ahead and use this cardstock to make some beautiful glittered pinwheels. Now this first one, as you can see, you'll actually see the first two. I made it with the white, which is the back side of the cardstock showing, but I'm going to be making the rest of them with the glitter side showing. So I decided to do a little bit of both mostly. So it gives you a little peek at the glitter when it's done this way, where you have the white showing, and then it gives you a lot more peek at the glitter when you do it the opposite way. So I have a mixture of two different kinds of pinwheels that are going to be on the layout. As you can see, I've done all the pinwheels over there, and what I did was I used a brad to hold them in the middle, and the brads are also glitter, as you can see, and so I decided to use that. And I know a lot of people don't use brads too much anymore, but I still held on to every last one of my brads because I'm always finding reasons to use them and incorporate them into my layout. So what I'm doing right now is I am looking for some glitter, and the right kind of glitter to put on the layout as well. These pinwheels turned out beautiful. I mean, the pictures don't do it justice, you guys. And then what I decided to do with some of the glitter paper is make strips so I can kind of have a way of anchoring these pinwheels that I've made out of this glitter cardstock here. So the cardstock, like I said, is American Crafts POW glitter paper, and the glitter does not come off. The glitter doesn't flake off or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about it getting anywhere and everywhere on your hands. If you're, like I said, once again, like me, that's a plus. That's a plus. I'm not a I don't like it when glitter gets everywhere. I like the glitter effect that it leaves behind, but oh my gosh, what deters me from using it a lot of times is the fact that it just comes off and it goes everywhere. But if you do run into that, you can use some of those Swiffer duster pads that you put on the end of your Swiffer broom, and those are magnetic, and trust me, they collect every last bit of glitter. So just a heads up on that. So now that I've gotten these pinwheels done, I really like the way this looks. I am just like super happy about this. This photo, so I'll tell you a little bit about this. This is the photo of my mother and her umbrella. She takes vitamin D supplements, and so she cannot, because the medication that she takes, she cannot take, she can't be in the sun, so she has to take vitamin D supplements. So that is why she has those the parasol slash umbrella. I call it an umbrella. She call it a parasol, but that's how we are. We call everything. But this is a picture of my mama, and she has been a staple along with her mom, who my grandmother is no longer here. And Mother's Day is coming up, so what I'm doing for my mom is I am doing a tea. So I'm doing a Mother's Day tea, so I'm going to have some of that here, and she's going to enjoy that because she really likes that. She used to have tea with my grandmother all the time when my grandmother was here, and so I'm going to do a special tea for her for this year. So that'll be nice. So as you can see, I placed everything down here on the layout, and then I took it off because I just wanted to see how it was going to look. And so now I'm going to go and I'm going to put it all back on. I cut a little white border because the pinwheels have white on them, as well as the photo. The photo itself also has a little white border. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to put a little border around here. And one of the cards that I'm going to be putting on the layout is also a white as well. So it worked out perfect because these items, and this is pretty much forcing me to create my own, and I say this with an emphasis on own, my own embellishments, because we spend lots and lots and lots and lots of money on embellishments, you guys. And so this just reminds me that yes, it takes a little bit of time, it's worth it, but I can do my own embellishments. And so that's why I am so glad that I joined this team with CutCard Stock, because this actually forces me to use my imagination to create beautiful things with the card stock. So, and to show you that it can be done. So right now I'm putting on those strips. I got them all on, and I'm going to be putting a little bit more down there just to give it more balance. And so that's what I'm doing. And this is the same glitter paper that I used to make the pinwheels with. So instead of, I wanted to keep it and wasting it. So I ended up using the majority, I would say about 3/4 of that paper. I'm going to put the rest of the paper in my scraps, and so I can use it later. So it ended up working out pretty good. And that was a 12 by 12 that I used and cut up everything and made all these pinwheels out of, including these strips. I only used one paper. So like I said, Mother's Day is coming up, and Mother's Day is a big deal in our household. So I'm very happy about that. And spring is here as well. And so it's just been really interesting. Unfortunately, one of the biggest issues I have is allergies, and so I'm trying to deal with that right now as we speak. So, but yes, I'm super stoked about Mother's Day this year because this will be the first tea I've ever hosted. I mean, we're going really full-blown tea, and we're going to have a few people, not a whole lot. We're allowed to have up to 8. And so, and everybody's going to be, I have everything set. Everybody's going to be spaced out, pretty good there until our mask regulations and things are lifted. But right now we're going to take precautions, and we're going to have everybody spaced out. So it's going to be great, and everybody's still going to enjoy themselves because I have a big enough area so where I can host at least 8 people, and everybody will have their right amount of space. So now back to the layout. I am situating these pinwheels again. Of course, as you can see, it did change from the first time that you see me put them all down. I just decided that, oh my gosh, man, what is going on with me? So I just changed the whole thing around, but I actually loved how it came out, and I'm glad I did it that way because it's more balanced. So I had one of the larger pinwheels in the top right left-hand corner, and I have the second largest pinwheel in the bottom right-hand corner, and it actually balanced itself out with the medium size and the small size pinwheels in between the two. It worked out perfect, and I am glad that it did. And now what I'm doing is I'm looking for a font. Now this font was in my stash, I don't know how long, but I found it, and I decided to go ahead and use it because it was gold as well. Even though it has a little bit of black on the outline, it still gives it a little bit of contrast. Although there is no black on the layout whatsoever, it still gives it some dimension. I don't know who thought about putting the black on the edge of the letters and the font there, but that was a good idea because it does give it some dimension, and it actually lifts it up off the layout. And that's that look that you see. I thought it was just my eyes, but it actually isn't. It's actually a look that it is giving off there with that dimension. So now that I've got the picture down finally and the strips down finally, now I'm gonna go ahead and proceed to permanently put those pinwheels down, as you can see. See, I'm like, oh my gosh. And what I'm using some Zots to do that with. And if you're not familiar with Zots, They're kind of like glue dots, except they work better. Glue dots, in my opinion, don't work as well. But Zots, I've been using Zots for 10 years and they work perfect. And let me tell you, once you put whatever it is that you put down with the Zots, especially the 3D ones, it's not coming up. So just to let you know, it's permanent. All right, so as you can see, I'm getting them down and I'm arranging them just so, you know, different sizes. Because like I said, I have the large ones, I have medium pinwheels, and I have small ones. And each one of them has a brad in the middle. And there's variants of color. There's a gold, there's like a copper gold, and then there's a green glitter-ish, like emerald kind of like color there on a couple of them. I think a few of them. Anyway, so that's why I decided to kind of mix it up like that, and it turned out beautiful. I'm really happy how this turned out, and it just, by doing this layout, just reminds me that I have creativity upstairs. I can do my own embellishments, and we forget because we end up buying a bunch of embellishments. But if you get the right kind of cardstock, like what cardstock provides. It's very sturdy cardstock. Like I said, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. I've done quilling with it. I've done the pinwheels with it. I mean, I've done all kinds of stuff with this cardstock so far, and I'm really impressed by it. And some of the stuff that I've done with the cardstock is not, I don't have videos for, but I'm really impressed of this. And I'm also happy that I decided to use my imagination and make my own embellishments with it. I mean, really, you can do that. Anyway, so now what I'm doing is I am gluing these sequences down, and instead of you watching me glue every last one of these sequins, I decided that I would kind of cut it a little bit. So you're going to see me do quite a few. And what I do is I put a little bit of glue down, and then I take my really fine point tweezers that I got are almost like needle nose point, and I just grab up these little tiny sequences and dip them in the glue, and I just put it on that way. It's easier that way than to have to go around and putting dots of glue all over my layout and then trying to figure out where I put the glue at, because that's what happened in the past. And so I made it easier for myself to do it this way. So that's another technique. Like I said, the pinwheel technique, you just need 2x2 squares or 4x4 squares that I've done, or 3x3 squares, and you can make your own pinwheels. You just cut in each corner and you make a triangle. Don't cut all the way to the middle, and you will have your pinwheel once you begin to bend the pieces that you've pierced holes in. And you would pierce a hole in every other corner of each one of those triangles, and it's 4 of them. So you're gonna have 4 pierced holes and then 1 pierced hole in the middle. So if you are interested in learning more about how to make pinwheels, I do have another link that I can link you to on my channel where I showed you how I made the pinwheels as well. I made it for a different project. So there you have it on that, and I am pretty much done. Oh, what I did was I put a glop of glue and took a bunch of glitter of the sequins and put it right there just to make it look like a bunch like I did it on purpose, which I didn't. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to tune in to the channel for more. I will be having more CutCard Stock videos, and that way you can see how I do my projects with the cardstock. Thank you guys so much, and be sure to click on the link if you want your own cardstock. It's a great deal. And I will talk to you later. Have a great and wonderful, scrappy week. Bye-bye, and happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Bye-bye.